So, has Tom Cruise made a comeback or not? You're watching Beyond the Trailers review of Oblivion.
60 years ago, Earth was attacked. We won the war, but they destroyed half the planet. Our job is security and drone maintenance. We're the mop-up crew.
2 more weeks, Jack, and we can leave and join the others.
I've been watching you, Jack.
Yes, it was looking pretty bad there for a while for Tom Cruise, what with the couch jumping, the Scientology, and the low box office grosses. But then in 2011, he seemed to stage a comeback with Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. The flick made almost $700 million worldwide, reminding audiences and Hollywood that Cruise's fame is no accident. He's one of the hardest working and most meticulous movie stars/producers in the business. Bringing Incredibles director Brad Bird over to live action? Genius. Teaming up with Oscar nominee Jeremy Renner? Genius. Doing his own stunts hanging from a Dubai high-rise? Genius. No one can argue these points. Yet there's also no arguing that he followed up Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol with a flop, Rock of Ages, which couldn't even make back its $75 million budget worldwide. And while Jack Reacher did turn a profit thanks to doing much of its business overseas, it hasn't blossomed into the franchise Cruise had hoped. Thank goodness then that the success of Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol enticed other producers to cast Cruise in their own films that are now just about to hit theaters and possibly get Cruise's comeback back on track. He just finished filming All You Need Is Kill, directed by the Bourne Identity and Mr. and Mrs. Smith director Doug Liman. But first he's starring in a slightly riskier endeavor for Tron Legacy helmer Joseph Kosinski, Oblivion. See, prior to the release of Tron Legacy, Kosinski was being called a visionary director. Yet studio PR departments don't work quite as hard to hype you after you barely turn a profit for them. In fact, a third Tron flick went from the fast track to the slow track after the $170 million production, a budget that doesn't include advertising, made just about $400 million worldwide. Remember, the studio only gets half of that. But while it's clear Kosinski is no Brad Bird, it's still up in the air as to whether or not Oblivion is as smartly assembled as Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. It does have amazing visuals, Morgan Freeman, and a rewrite by Toy Story 3 screenwriter Michael Arndt. But perhaps Arndt used a few too many Pixar tricks, as Oblivion is already drawing comparisons to Wall-E, but also to I Am Legend. And speaking of Will Smith, his similarly hued and barren sci-fi flick After Earth comes out just about a month after Oblivion, and perhaps is draining away audience interest. So, will Oblivion prove that Cruise's comeback is legit, or despite all his hard work, has he just run out of luck? Or even worse, does he want to come back so bad his desperation is a major turnoff to audiences? So since just one movie came out this weekend, and I know a lot of you enjoyed the BTT Crew reviews, today you're getting another one.
This is my first review, so bear with me. I don't think I'm a stupid man, but this film kind of made me feel dumb because I think it starts with the script.
This movie just doesn't make any sense. It's not even hard to follow. It just literally does not really make any sense.
Things just happen because they did. Characters do things because they did. And there's no motivation. It's very poorly thought out. And it's frustrating when you see so much money spent on a movie like this and you see like quality actors. At least, I think Tom Cruise is a really good actor. Morgan Freeman. Hardly any Morgan Freeman in this movie. I hope no one's going for Morgan Freeman.
I thought it was a very pretty film. I read before it was shot on digital, and I thought it looked really good. There's one scene at the beginning when they're having dinner with candlelight, and I thought that was a really pretty scene. It looked genuine, like that was their main source.
I wasn't really that impressed with the visuals of this movie. I think after seeing Joseph Kosinski's work on Tron, I think the design of that movie was a lot more impressive. And I really liked the way Tron looked, even if I thought the story had a lot of problems.
Also, the other thing that was weird to me is that this film has such 80s moments with the music and the lighting and the shots, and Tom Cruise is an 80s star and pretty much looks the same as he did in the 80s, that it's just a weird choice. Like, there seem like shots right out of like the sex scene in Top Gun.
It seems like you're being nitpicky, but not really, because if there's a lot of advanced technology in this movie, you could see it in the trailer, the weird planes and the drones and stuff, and yet they can't tolerate a lightning strike. I mean, our jets now in 2013 can get hit by lightning and be totally fine.
I don't like to harp on how bad Hollywood treats their female characters because it's already known, but might as well admit they were just used as sex objects.
One of the female characters, she plays a major role, and I expected her to sleep through the entire movie. Half the movie, she's unconscious.
We've talked a lot lately about, oh, you shouldn't do origin stories, we know them. But this makes me rethink that a little bit when I see a movie like this, because I think the audience needs to go through it with the characters. They need that emotional hook to really be rooted in the story. So, maybe doing origin stories isn't such a bad idea, and this film desperately needed an origin story.
I do like Tom Cruise. I think he usually picks movies that are very solid. They might not be amazing and they might have a couple issues, but they're usually really solid and watchable. This is almost completely unwatchable.
All in all, it's not a terrible film in my opinion. It's a harmless, dumb, stupid film that makes no sense.
The one thing that I actually really liked about the movie were the drones that he does maintenance on. They're the circular spheres that you see in the trailer. They're like defense mechanisms, and so they are weapons. And those were really cool. That was a cool development. I kind of liked the way they were done. They almost seemed to have some personality. It was the most unique thing about the film, and they were very the special effects, the CGI on them was also excellent.
On a 1 to 10, I would give this a 2.
I would give this film a 4.5.
I give it a 5.
So overall, we think this movie should be blasted into oblivion, giving it a 4. Have you seen the film? If so, share your own thoughts down below. I hope you enjoyed this BTT Crew review, and I hope you'll check out these other episodes.